Tell us about the Runaway.
Okay. Well, I told you Father owned a store, and in those days there were no cars, and there were trucks or anything to freight with, so we had to freight with horses. And usually would take a wagon and two or four horses pull the wagon. They'd go to carts and bring a big load of things back to the store. This particular time we went down on the weekend. Father often asked me to go with him. I was kind of a tomboy, an outside girl, and I was Father's right-hand man when he was ever out in the open doing things. Mm-hmm. So he invited me to go to Carson with him, and we went down, and we didn't take the wagon this time. We only took the old, we call it Democrat. It's a buggy that, like, you know, they used to have two seats in it. You've seen these pictures of the buggies with the two seats. Well, they took the one seat off the back, and it left a big open space there, so we could put a lot of goods in there, and left this front seat for us to sit on. And this particular weekend, we went to Cardston, and Father went down on business, and we loaded up the Democrat with all these goods. I remember among them, I think I would have forgotten there was pots and pans of what hadn't followed. Led me to remember. But anyway, we were coming home. It was rather late, I think, when we started. It was about a three-hour trip to come home in those days from Carson to Mountain View, and with a team like that. And it was kind of late when we got home. I imagine between 9 and 10 o'clock. Of course, there were no electric lights in those days, no lights anywhere. So when we got in front of the store, Father pulled up in front of the store, and he said, "Rubie, hold the reins, and I'll go in and get the lantern and unload the load."
And were you about 10, Mom?
I think I must have been somewhere 8, 9, or 10. Now,
wow.
I wasn't 10 because I was that old. Maybe near 8 or 9. But anyway, he said, "Hold the reins, and I'll go in and get the lantern." And the horses were very tired. You wouldn't have thought the light would have disturbed those horses, tired as they were. But when Father opened that door with that lantern in his hand, you ought to see what happened. Those horses jumped and bolted like you would not believe, and started to run. And that's when I remember the pots and the pans, and they were such a sound in my life. And there I sat, a little bit of a thing, you know, hanging on those reins for dear life, trying to stop the horses, didn't know how. They're doing my best to pull them back. But anyway, the Lord must have not wanted the disaster to happen, because something really almost miraculous happened. Up the street from us was a hotel. And it had been owned by a man by the name of Brother Bird, Johnny Bird, but he had sold it to a man by the name of Clark, his brother-in-law. And this particular night, now I don't know why, this was in kind of late fall, this Brother Clark had come out of the hotel and happened to be outside. And he said he heard this terrible, terrible noise.
Pots and pans rattling up the road.
And anybody in those days who ever heard a runaway would know it was but a sound. He said, "I knew immediately there was a runaway somewhere." And he said, "When I listened, I could hear it's coming from the east, and I knew there was trouble." So that good, brave man came from the hotel, ran right out in the middle of the road, and waited until we got there. And when we got there, he did something that a lot of people wouldn't dare do. He grabbed the horse's head closest to him and hung on, and that horse just drug him for several feet, or quite a ways. But he hung on for dear life until he stopped those horses.
Had you let go of the reins by then?
No.
They were still running.
They were still running.
Wow.
And I forgot to tell you this, that when they bolted down in front of the store, Father was so terrified, he quickly put the lantern down and ran and jumped quick to try and grab the buggy so he could get on and stop him. And he was knocked down, and the back wheel of the buggy ran over his shoulder.
Wow.
And he suffered with that for quite a long time afterwards. And I remember he lost everything. It was his pockets. Next morning we went out and picked up money and all kinds of things off that ground that come out of all the pockets. But anyway, they got Brother Clark got the team stopped. And we turned around and he came back down to the hotel and helped us put the team away because Father was hurt. And
But you were okay.
I was okay.
I bet you, no wonder you haven't ever forgotten that though.
Had Mr. Clark not done what he did, I don't think those horses ever stopped and that buggy had been capsized. I might have been killed. It was just a stick of the whistle.
Yeah.
So, but it shows, I guess, the Lord looks after us.
Did you lose any of the load off of your wagon? Off the
I-
dump truck?
I think so, sis, but I can't remember too much about that. I can't remember too much
Those
about
pots and pans flew.
that. I think undoubtedly we did lose a lot of that loose